Hey everybody, it's Kelly Cooper and welcome to another live Q&A video. Today's question I'll be answering is, what's the best way to feel better regardless of your current circumstances? And I really like this question because once we get a better understanding of the law of attraction, our reality, the inside level of cause, outside is just all level of effect, just, feedback of what our dominant energy is. We start to understand that our mind's bullshit way of operating, of not wanting to feel better until you have a reason to, until something changes to justify these better feelings, it ain't gonna fly if you want to be a true conscious creator. So you start to see that you need to start feeling differently, even if the outside isn't really changing yet. And as a fellow human, I get that this can be challenging, especially because our whole life we've been living with the conditioning of living outside in. Things happen, and then we decide how we feel about it, and our feelings are determined by our circumstances. But again, once we start getting a better understanding of the role of energy in influencing our reality, we see we can't really operate in that way anymore, and we have to have a willingness to feel better in the present moment. Not shitting rainbows happy, don't put pressure on yourself to make these huge leaps in your energy that won't work. You won't be able to sustain it, and it's even worse, so don't feel pressure to do that. But so the main thing, the best way to help you achieve this, the foundation that's going to be the foundation you're going to lay that you can build off of this if you do this one thing, is you have to start changing the story around your circumstances, because that's the only reason you're upset. What's actually happening inherently has no meaning. What are some objective facts you might be dealing with right now? Your boyfriend broke up with you. You haven't had a relationship in X amount of time. You just lost your job. You're struggling financially. Your business isn't where it wants to be. This thing, that thing, right? These are just facts of your life right now, maybe. These things are objectively, yes, they're happening. In and of themselves, doesn't mean shit. It really means nothing. But what happens is our mind, our lovely mind, it's, our best friend there, right? Not. It tells a story. It layers a story on top of these circumstances. Your boyfriend broke up with you. You're not good enough. You're unlovable. You're not pretty enough. This thing or that thing. You're broken. Whatever, right? Your business is struggling. You're not good at what you do. This thing, that thing, right? And then you feel shitty. So the problem is not the circumstances. The problem is the story you're telling about those circumstances. And the problem with these stories is our mind takes them as objective fact. Your mind is very good at convincing you whatever conclusions it draws about anything happening in your life. That's it. That's a fact. Like, there's no room for interpretation, discussion. That's it. Your mind is like, this is what this means, and it's always going to be something shitty. It will never be something good, and that's it. End of story, right? But it's not the end of the story. It's just, for whatever reason, your mind is telling this story based on past experience, whatever else, right? Religion, there's something, and your mind is formulating this information, and something someone said to you, whatever, right? It's coming from somewhere, and then your mind tells this story. If you start seeing that the story you're telling about your circumstances is just some bullshit story and not any sort of fact, you will feel better immediately. Will you get super, super happy and all of a sudden things bothering you for 10 years aren't going to bother you anymore? Probably not. But you would be amazed at the lightening, the load. You lighten your load energetically and emotionally so much just by changing the story. Because again, the story is the problem, not the circumstances. If you change the story around what was happening, and you're just like, yeah, this is what's happening. Just yeah, I'm single, I haven't been in a relationship for a while. Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, my boyfriend broke up with me. Yeah, we just weren't a match. Fine, whatever, right? But the thing is, though, with this, which I have to stress, is changing the story is a great start to feeling better. But I hate to break it to you, that intellectual understanding, again, great first step. You start changing the story, the emotions start changing. all the feelings born of these stories that you've been carrying around for maybe a very long time, you probably can't think your way out of those feelings, just intellectually understanding something. You'll have to feel that shit. Sorry. It's really not that bad though, I promise you. I am like, I feel shit constantly and I live to tell the tale and it's fine. And I'm a much happier person for it. That's why I stress it so much, because that's our only problem. It's the shit, not what we don't have or what we don't like in our life. So change the story, but then don't try to think your way out of the feelings, because the feelings from the stories, they probably won't go away so quick, no matter how much intellectually you understand, oh yeah, this story's bullshit. Cry, be mad, be sad, let the bitterness, whatever you feel, unload it, let it out of your system so it's not dominating your energy anymore. But yeah, that's really the best way to start feeling better regardless of what's happening. Because what's happening is not the actual problem. It's the story. And then the feelings born of that story. Again, sorry, you probably can't think your way out of the feelings. Intellectual, it gets us in the door, but it's not going to take us all the way. Intellect is basically useless in the world of emotion. Oh, thank you, Jesse. I'm so happy that you're enjoying it. I really like doing the videos. They're fun. So yeah, that's really it. Because it just comes down to conscious choice, guys. Because here's the thing, your mind will make brilliant arguments to pull you away from this work and pull you away from these perspectives at every turn. And because we're so used to existing in the space of the mind and we have all of this shit, we're addicted to our pain, we're comfortable in it, and a part of us, we actually kind of want to hold on to it. We're very willing to listen to our mind, and there'll always be a part of us that's like, yeah, mind, you know what, you're right. This is bullshit. You are right. I should feel bad about, like, it will make amazing arguments. And because we're so used to existing in that space, it'll be very easy to keep listening to it. You have to make a conscious choice not to listen to it. You have to understand your mind is not your friend. Your mind, the way your mind functions, it has no use for your happiness. It has no use for your healing. It has no use for you manifesting amazing things. It just wants to minimize pain, get what's good enough to keep your pain undisturbed, but yet at the same time, it's addicted to your pain. The part of it, it's a very fucked up thing. You don't want to let it run the show. You can't let it try to rule your work with the world of energy, heart, spirit, emotion, conscious creation. It'll never work. If you keep deferring to the mind, you'll be stuck. It's like a wheel in mud spinning its tire. You can't go anywhere, because if you keep deferring to your mind, your energy won't change, your thought processes won't change, your view of yourself won't change. Nothing will change. And if nothing's changing internally, nothing can change externally if you understand and you believe, at least to some degree, your energy creates your reality. So yeah, feeling better in the present moment, no matter what's going on. What's going on is not the problem. What you don't have is not the why you feel badly. So it's not the answer to feeling better. Mind-blowing, such a simple thing, but when we really make that connection, it's life-changing. Because if you can understand what you don't have now is not your real problem, you're not in such a rush to manifest it. You're not going to fake change your energy and fool yourself and bullshit yourself into pretending you feel good when you don't, and all this bullshit that we try to do, thinking somehow this will get us what we want and we can like trick the universe into giving us our stuff. The law of attraction, the process is neutral, clinical, mechanical, disinterested, dispassionate. It's just responding to your energy. There's no judgment or analysis on some other part of some force outside of you happening. It's just responding to your dominant energy. So we see all of these workarounds and all this bullshit our mind thinks will get us what we want. We see it's not going to work. So change the story. Let yourself feel the feelings. Unload it, because that's the real problem. The real problem is happening inside of you. It's nothing outside of you. I know it's hard to believe that because our mind works completely differently, but it's true. I promise you. The circumstances are really not the problem. On the most surface level, is that causing your emotional? Sure. On the most surface level, there's an emotional response to your mental chatter, and you're believing the stuff your mind is saying, and it makes you feel bad. But the deeper you go, the further and further you move away from your circumstances being the actual cause of your emotional pain and the actual cause of your unhappiness. It's just triggering stuff that's been within you for whenever amount of time, and it has nothing to do with it. It's more general, broader stuff that's just being triggered by your finances, your relationship status, what happened with your boyfriend, your weight, your health, all of these things, right? You can want all these things, no reason not to have them, but the sooner you understand they're not the true cause of your unhappiness, not having them, the easier it is to feel better no matter what's happening. Because again, what's happening is not the actual reason why you're upset. And our mind gets very mad at this perspective. It takes offense to it. But it's a good thing it's all inside, because inside is the only place you can control. It's the only place where you can make any real difference in anything, is inside of you. Everything else outside of you, good luck. You can't control, you can't do shit about any of that. Your energy is where your true source of control lies, for lack of a better word. So yeah, the best way to feel better, no matter what's happening, change the story, because it's the story about what's happening that's causing your pain. And whatever bullshit story your mind is telling you right now that's making you feel bad, making you feel disempowered or like a victim, or that you can't do anything, or this or whatever horrible thing that thinks you're stuck where you are, good luck. It's not true. It really isn't true. It's again, it's a story. It's a fictitious bullshit story. You let that go, you'll start feeling better immediately. Again, whatever feelings were born of those stories, you're not going to probably be able to intellectualize your way out of that one and intellectually understand the pain. You're going to have to feel it. It's really not to survive. Trust me, it's not going to kill you. It's not the end of the world to feel your feelings. It's okay. They're just messengers showing you how you're focusing and what you believe and all of that. They're very valuable, and dealing with them is going to be an important part of the journey for anyone interested in really meaningfully changing their energy and getting like the best of the best stuff. You don't want to settle for some watered down versions and pain minimization manifestations. They're not as good, and you don't need to do that. So yeah, that would be my advice to you. It's just the story. That's the only problem. You start releasing that story, consciously choosing to not listen to your mind and its bullshit. Again, it'll make stellar, brilliant arguments, and they'll be very convincing, and you're very used to listening to it, and it's comfortable to listen to it. You got to break out of it. That's not always easy, but conscious choice is going to be a huge part of conscious creation. We have a lot of choices we're going to have to make about, do we keep doing things the way we've been doing them, or do we try something different? Good old rational, logical thinking sometimes serves us very well, and that's one good example. If something's not working for you now, try a different way, right? Whether it's internally, externally, whatever. So yeah, change the story. Whatever story your mind is telling, it's not real, it's not true, it's not fact. Feel the shit. Prioritize your well-being in general. Do what you can to feel better now. I know your mind's convincing you can't possibly feel better till all your ducks are in a row externally and you get everything you want and everything's just so. And until then, you have to be miserable. Again, bullshit story. It's not true. So focus on general vibe management. That's not so much focus on getting something specific, because it probably doesn't feel good to focus that specifically, especially if you're feeling really badly about what's happening right now, because you're really in like pain minimization mode. And yeah, so do what you can to feel better generally. Spend more time with your hobbies. Scale back on commitments. Start saying no when you are saying yes and you don't want to be. Say no instead, Prioritize your own well-being. Maybe you have to be a little selfish. It's okay. This idea that everyone else is more important than us somehow and everyone else's feelings are more important, I don't know where that came from, but it is very detrimental. Just try to enjoy your life in general, even if you don't have what you want yet. I promise you, it's possible to feel better. The stuff will still come. It doesn't mean you're giving up on it. Remember, the universe is not responding to your dissatisfaction with your current circumstances. It can't give you what you want because you're upset or it feels bad for you or whatever. It just doesn't work that way. It's good it doesn't work that way, because then it just would be a giant mess and we would never be happy no matter what we got anyway. So it's good we have to do this work on ourselves, because that's ultimately what's going to make you happy anyway. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. For more content, head over to livelifemadeToOrder.com. You can find more information about my coaching services as well, products I have on offer. I have lots of content, podcasts, blog posts. If you have a question you'd like answered, feel free to leave it in the comments or send me a private message if you'd like to keep it private on my page. And yeah, that's it. Happy manifesting, guys. Bye-bye.